Hi, I'm Jacob Gallucci, and right now I'd like to present my idea for this week. This week I came up with an idea where there would be a TV show that would be about alternate realities or parallel universes, and I came up with 15 different ideas for alternate realities or parallel universes, and I'd like to present them right now. The first one I came up with would be a world where all the men are women and all the women are men. Imagine all the men right now. Imagine if that all the men would be women and all the women would be men. The second idea is similar, but here it is. I said imagine a world where all the men would have babies, breasts, and vaginas, and imagine a world where all the women would have penises, testicles, and facial hair. It would be crazy, my God. The third idea, I said there would be a world where all the white people are minorities and all the minorities are white people. It would be really strange. And the fourth idea I have is a world where the wealthy people are poor and all the poor people are wealthy. Like all the famous people in the world would be. Imagine a world where all the famous people would be homeless and all the homeless people now would be really famous and wealthy. That would be strange. There's a fifth idea. Imagine like different worlds without certain minorities. Like imagine a world where there were no black people or Hispanics or Asians or gays and lesbians. That would be weird. Number 6 is a world without without different handicapped people. Imagine a world where there wouldn't be any physically handicapped, mentally challenged, blind, deaf, or autistic people. That would be really weird. Number 7 is imagine a world without homeless people. Like, what if there were no homeless people anywhere? And number 8 I have is imagine a world where crime or violence didn't exist at all. Like, imagine like a world without guns or murder or just senseless crimes. Number 9 is a world where people age in reverse. Like, you're born old but you die as a child. It's like in Mork and Mindy, where the show with Robin Williams, where they aged backwards. In the planet he was from, Ork, the people aged backwards, which explains why Jonathan Winters, the late great Jonathan Winters, played his son Murph. And also, it's like that movie with Brad Pitt that came out a few years ago, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It's the same kind of thing, where he was born as an old man, but he died as a baby. And here's a few more ideas. The 10th idea I have is a world where famous people who died young lived a lot longer. Like, some of these people should still be alive, and some of them would have lived many years beyond like how long they lived. And I came up with some names: people in music and actors, athletes, politicians, and here's a bunch of names I thought of. Like, imagine if they had lived a lot longer. Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones, Graham Parsons, Kurt Cobain, John Lennon, Elvis Presley, Jim Croce, Harry Chapin, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Heath Ledger, Freddie Prinze, Harold O'Rourke, Fatty Arbuckle, Curly Howard, John Belushi, John Candy, Chris Farley, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Roberto Clemente, Jackie Robinson, Pat Tillman, Len Bias, Hank Gavers, Reggie Lewis, Drazen Petrovic, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, just to name a handful of people who died way too young. And there's a few more I thought of. Imagine a world where certain major tragedies had never happened. Like, imagine if 9/11 had never happened. Imagine if Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Sandy had never happened. And a lot more recently, imagine if the Boston Marathon explosion had never happened. And number 12 is a world where evil people in history had never been born. Like, imagine a world where Hitler had never been born, or Stalin, or Saddam Hussein, or Osama bin Laden. imagine a world where those guys didn't exist and there's other evil people, but those are the four that I think those are probably the four most evil people in recent history. Like by recent, I mean within the last 100 years or so. Number 13 is a world where animals talked and sounded like people. Like imagine if animals talked and they understood humans and they talked like people. That would be really strange. Like imagine if our dogs and cats talked. Imagine if animals in the zoo talked just like us. And number 14, it's similar, but it's a little different. Imagine a world where people are animals and animals are people. Like what if people were kept as pets, and what if they were kept in zoos and the circus, and what if the animals dressed in suits and ties and dresses, and what if they were like us? What if they had jobs and went to school? That would be crazy. And last but not least, I have an idea where there would be a world where babies talked from the moment they were born. Like as soon as a baby's out of the mother's womb, he or she'll start talking, and we can understand babies from the moment that they're born. Like we'll know what they want. We'll know what they want from like the beginning, like if they're hungry or thirsty, or if they need to be changed, or if they're tired. There was an earlier Simpsons episode that kind of explored this idea with Homer's half-brother Herb. Herb was voiced by Danny DeVito, and he invented this device where you can understand babies, and I'm surprised that something like that doesn't really exist now. I think there will be something like that in the future. Like you can really there will be this device where you can figure out what a baby wants, like what a baby really wants, like if he or she's hungry or thirsty or needs to be changed or is tired or something. I mean, we'll finally know what babies want. Like it'll cut down on crying and just the noise at restaurants and trains and in different places. I mean, can you imagine? Anyway, these are just some ideas I came up with for like different alternate realities or parallel universes, and there's others that I'm sure would be good, but these are the ones that jumped out at me right now, and it's just fantasy. I mean, like this would be a good TV show. Like it could be like a comedy, drama, and like a sci-fi fantasy type show. You know, it would be fun. It would be a good show, I think. And anyway, I'm sorry for rambling, but I have one more video coming up next, and stay tuned for that.